Hello, it's Ryan from Building Body, Mind, Soul, back here at ironmartialartsonline.com. Let's get to it for a running edition. Running is really important. If you can't actually get out on the road and run or the trail, then there are other substitutes. There's plenty of variations now for if you have access to a pool, doing the water running, waist high or whatever. If you have to just be on a treadmill for a little bit less impact and resistance than the actual road or hard ground, you can also just do variations if you can't actually run and you're doing something like an elliptical. While it is a different motion altogether, still getting like your cardio in, and you need to do that for not just martial arts or for whatever physical fitness you're doing. You need that just for healthy life, because you need cardiovascular exercise. You can't always be doing anaerobic things. Anaerobic is cool, 20-second high intensity session intervals. You can do that, it's fun, but you need to have the other half of it too. So you can't forget about the aerobic stuff, specifically cardio. Reminding ourselves cardio and aerobic are not totally synonymous, because cardio is actually keeping the heart rate at a high enough rate for what I like to use as a marker, 20 minutes or more, 20 to 30 minutes. Good rough estimate is your age from 180. So 180 minus your age. So if I am 35, my number would be 145, right? Because 180 minus 35 would be 145. And then I want my pulse somewhere above 145, not quite at the cutoff of 145, but I would say maybe like 150, 155 a minute. Again, this is general info. You could have like a medical condition that your pulse doesn't need to get anywhere near that fast if you were my age, because you have other, if somebody has heart failure or something, that changes everything. But just as a general rule of thumb, 180 minus your age for all of your cardio exercise, and specifically running, I think is the best to do that. But there's some tricks, right? Because you want to make sure that you can exercise until you are old and gray, and so there is some joint abuse, wear and tear that comes with running, just like with martial arts. And so you can do some little tricks of the trade to be kind to your body over the years, over the decades. So first is where you run. Strongly recommend getting off the road, off the street, off pavement, wherever you are in the world. If you can get onto field, onto trails, that will be much better in the long run. Still need to be careful, because you actually run some higher risk of, injuries for, twisting and rolling the ankle or something over like a tree root versus just the flat pavement in the road. But in general, if you can go ahead and switch up what you're running on, that will be good for your feet. That's the first quick thing. The second quick thing is to make sure you change up shoes, different kinds of running shoes, sneakers. I think that's one of the most important and overlooked things. Not just how frequently you change your running shoes, but make sure you have a couple different pairs. It treats the feet differently, and it is wiser in general to do. The next thing I'll say is the side of the road you run on, when you make sure, or the trail, you want to go ahead and switch it up. So remember, roads do have this very general elevation in the middle and going down, because of course we don't want it, when it rains, water to pool in the middle of a road and a street. It's going to have a slight gradual elevation down to each side. So if I run on one side of the road, I want to make sure I run on the other side of the road on the way back. I want to make sure I switch that up. And I even want to make sure, if I am running on, say, on a trail, the left side of the trail on Monday, that, when I go running again on Wednesday, that same trail, I'm now, when I start out to, go down the trail before I turn around, I'm now running on the right side of the trail on Wednesday. So, because that treats the feet differently too. So it's not just running on one side and then coming back on the other side. It's actually switching up which way you start out, going forward on one day and going back on the other. So that's actually an important little detail as well. So the biggest thing, though, that I want to address is the Tai Chi Running, and this is not to be like the quote trademarked version of all the books out there on Tai Chi Running, but what I see as energy running in what we'll say is like forms of Tai Chi running, moving with the body. And so the first is just having good posture when you run, making sure most people, if they're off, they're going to be off forward, not leaning backwards. It would be weird to see people running like this. That would just kill your lower back. Most people's bodies won't let them do that. But you definitely see people run with a slight arch forward like that. You see that all the time, especially on long runs. So you want to go ahead, you want to just remember the puppet rule. So you are like a puppet on a string, and somebody has you by the head, the string going right through the crown of the head, and you feel yourself lifted up, and imagine just lifting up. And when they do that, that's going to kind of go ahead and adjust and align everything as you go up. So you want to make sure you have the chest up, right, and that you're not hunched. You want to make sure you have a slight pelvic tilt, but you don't want to actually overdo the pelvic tilt either, because if you do, that will kill your lower back. So I would say it's like a very slight, it's like a 20-30% pelvic tilt. You also want to make sure that you keep, for breathing, breath work purposes during running, the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and you want to go in and out through the nose. So we can get into all the stuff about the Du and Ren meridians, and if you're into all the energy meridian talk and acupoints, that's fine for the acupressure and acupuncture, but to not digress, the simple thing would be, putting the tongue on the roof of the mouth, letting the mouth just be closed, and then in and out through the nose. And you're gonna go ahead and you typically, if you can hold fingers like this, like A-OK, and imagine that throughout the run, just recheck every few minutes, that puppet, the string, going up on the head, pulling you up. And remembering that general slight pelvic tilt. And the other thing that I think is really important, as far as whether you run, and this might be counter to a lot of the stuff out there, but when you run, ball of the feet versus heel strike first. So I've had the pleasure of talking and working with enough podiatrists in my own line of medical work I do, that actually that is not a one size fits all. So I don't have a problem with everybody doing tongue on the roof of the mouth, everybody gentle hand posture, everybody breathing in and out through the nose. We should also mention dantian, so you're not puffing the chest, right? Breathing in and out through the chest, right? It's gonna be from dantian, always a couple inches below the belly button here, below the navel. So you can do that. Also, making sure that when you run, you just do what's comfortable for whether you are a 4-foot runner running on the balls of the feet, or if you are a heel striker first. Actually, you can't. That's the one piece I would say, and caveat, is not for everybody, that it is going to be different for different people. It's whatever feels comfortable to you, because there are different foot structures. There are plenty of marathon runners I know that they will always be heel striker first. Still, you want to work on your form so you're not like smashing the heel, but then there are other people, just the way their body structure, their foot structure, they are really truly running all 26 miles on the balls of their feet, and the heels are pretty much not even touching the ground. And for them, that's actually okay and normal. So that part you have to experiment and see what feels natural and normal in your body. But everything else, the hands, tongue on the roof of the mouth, puppet string through the center crown of the head, making sure we relax abdomen, breathe through the dantian, very slight pelvic tilt, all of that other stuff is excellent for everyone to implement. And the only other thing I would add to it is make sure that when, this idea of resting different parts of your body, so you can go ahead and engage your core when you run, and that's a really smart thing to do, because it will actually, if you are able when you're running to go ahead and the legs are tired, you can go ahead and gently flex the core. So it's almost like if somebody's about to punch you, right, and you want to tighten to protect yourself, not going crazy, but you're doing maybe like 50%. And by doing that for a couple minutes, that will actually relieve a little bit of tension in the legs. And I didn't believe that when I first started all this different kind of running, but then I did it, and then I did some longer runs, 10, 20 miles, whatever we're doing, and then I was like, okay, it's legit, it works. I'll also say, and we don't condone running with weight vests and with the large weight vests, but I'll be honest and say I do it. I have reasons I do it, and I certainly have some longtime students of myself that also choose to do it. There is some joint and risk that comes with that for joint stuff, so you need to be extra careful. But I can definitely attest to the fact that running with 30, 40 pounds strapped on me, going for 10 miles is much more doable with this kind of Tai Chi running than regular running alone. And so that would be something that if you are somebody who chooses to run with weights, again, I don't advise it, I don't push people to do it, but if you do it for whatever your reasons are to do it, then just remember, if you're gonna do it, at least do it to be nice to your body with the Tai Chi running, as opposed to just getting out there and just regular running. And that's it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope it helps your run. Aim for at least 3 or 4 runs a week. Try to hit your 20 to 30 minutes. Distance is important, but you got to get that 20 minutes for cardiovascular benefit. You want that 20-minute marker, okay? See you next time.